I'm Sam Mitchell, and these are my stories.
Howdy folks, having a good day today. Let me be the first to welcome you to Autism Rocks and Rolls. Now before I begin, I must note that I do not own the music. Both musics were found on iTunes. I also am not a doctor, and I must make a disclaimer. I am not a doctor or a psychiatrist. If you feel like your son or daughter needs to be diagnosed, please see a physician or any medical personality that you think if your son or daughter needs to be diagnosed. I only speak based on my experiences. Now, I also have a couple of shout-outs to give. The first shout-out that I must give is to DeAndre Cherry. Now, DeAndre, hope this isn't making fun of your name, nor I hope I'm making fun of you, but I gotta sing this. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. She's my cherry pie. Na 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 na. She's my cherry pie. Alright. And the only reason I know is because my mom loves that song. But anyway. But DeAndre, the only reason I want to give you a shout out, man, is thank you for having me on your wrestling podcast, the 1130 podcast, which is a great podcast that I highly recommend you all check out. I also must give another shout out to Wes Huntington. He is a young man that I have met that has autism as well, and is doing great things too, like I am. Like, he fell in love, he has a beautiful wife, and he's awesome. I mean, Wes, I hope you're doing good, man. The final shout that I must give is to Mr. Morrow and Mr. Nanarone. Pat runs the Crooked River Internet radio station and will be putting my podcast on as a regular thing starting next week. Eric is on the Cuyahoga Valley radio network, and he will also do it as a regular. But thank you both for the support, and I really appreciate you guys doing this. You guys don't have to, but you guys are awesome. Also, that I'm going to request that you all please vote for my podcast for the People's Choice Awards on my website. You click nominate, fill out a brief form that tells you why, I think, and I am the first podcast in the health section, Autism Rocks and Rolls. The deadline is in a month, so help me out, people. Deadlines are soon, but I bet you can still do it. I would really appreciate it. And also, we are now selling Autism Awareness Paracord bracelets. If you go to the merchandise section on my website, autismrocksandrolls.com, you can order them there. We are selling lots, and we want to keep that going, so let's do it. Now we got the shout-outs out of the way. Let's talk about the topic. So I think we're all ready for that. So today's topic, for all my viewers, will be, get ready for it, gotta do this big intro here. Dun, dun, dun. Exclusion, because exclusion's a big one, because we get excluded a lot, and we don't know why. Sometimes it's our fault, sometimes it's their fault, but it just happens naturally. I think that's, as we all say, it's a autistic habit. Instead of the natural habitat, it's an autistic habitat, I guess is the way we could put it. Because we are excluded for some reason, and maybe it's because we don't know how to take a conversation, maybe it's many reasons, but we'll get into more of that later. But it just happens. I think you'll have to learn. Your son or daughter will be excluded in their time frame, unfortunately, but they won't be sometimes, and you gotta focus on that part instead of the sad part. The term for exclusion, though, is not allowing someone to be included with anyone else in society, because I think sometimes society just tries to put us in the ditch and put us in the main low part of success. But look at me, though. That's not the case. The case is I'm successful. You don't need to exclude me. There's no point. You're just making me mad. I'll be honest with you, 100%. So there's no point unless you want to get on my bad side. I mean, I hate to tell you this, but it's the truth. So if you want to exclude me, go ahead, but it's your loss and your problem. That's a you problem, not a me problem. I think why we have to have an encounter with this on a daily basis is because we are not the best on conversations. See 1115, conversation operation for more. But because we have a hard time with the conversations, that leads to exclusion, because the other person just does not know how to take us sometimes and does not know how to handle us or what we might say. And it's easier for them just to exclude us instead of tolerating us. And I don't think it should be, instead, exclusion or tolerate, should be tolerate over exclusion. Now, heed thy warning. If you choose to exclude us, then it is the absolutely and completely wrong decision, because we have to put up with other struggles and other baloney in this world that you guys don't have to deal with, and other situations that you guys don't deal with, but all we want is that chance, and for you to, and see 1115 conversation operation for this, all we want you to do is let us in. We want you to let us in. Now, I mean, I'm saying with period, compassion as well. And all we want you to do is let us in, and we just want that chance to show you that we can fit in just like an average person without autism or with any other disability, or with an old person. I mean, I don't care who your age or gender or whatever. We just want the opportunity to fit in with anyone, no matter what your color, your religion, your gender, your age. We don't care. We just want to fit in like everyone else does. And here's the deal too. Something that will highly likely happen if you exclude us is they're going to throw in the towel and say these two words, I quit, and give you what you want. I went through it at C104, making friends and getting that girl for more, but I went through that freshman year. I mean, you guys excluded me. No offense, Eastern kids. You guys were awesome. I'm not saying I'm trying to bash anyone here, but half of Eastern, unfortunately, did exclude me. I gave you what they wanted. I was the person who was respected, but was excluded a lot for some odd reason. And that was very unfortunate, but I gave you what you wanted. And I think it kind of worked, actually, in a unique way, because now people are talking to me, and most of Eastern is now including me. I don't know if it's because of the podcast. I don't know if it's because they missed me. I mean, you should miss me because I'm pretty cool. But anyway, but I don't know why, but it happened, and they quit excluding me, and I don't know why it did, but I don't know if, like I said, they missed me or what the case happened, but I guess it happened, and that's awesome. Woo! So that's all I'm going to say about that, but it was awesome. Let's put it that way. And I'm not trying to bash anyone, but Eastern was great, but then there's most of that Eastern who will explain, and I think for me, like I said in 104, making friends and getting that girl, I wasn't ready, for that's partially me as well, but it's also partially them. So, I mean, it was a one-way street and not a two-way street. And when we are excluded, we feel like we are not important, and we feel like we are the little person who is just not tall enough yet to ride a roller coaster. Because think about it. You get that little person on, he's just like just an inch away from being a big boy or a big girl, I guess, and riding that roller coaster. And he's like, oh, dang it, I don't get to ride the roller coaster. Dang it, darn it. I'm grouchy, take me home. But unfortunately, that's what we feel like. We're an inch away from that exclusion coaster, I guess is the way to put it. And we're so close to being like, we're going to get there, we're going to get there. But then you're just not tall enough, and all your hopes are down the drain, and basically is the deal. And unfortunately, when you're excluded, that's what it feels like. We're an inch away from being included, but we're not quite there yet. We're still in the exclusion thingy, and unfortunately, when we're excluded, we're just can't ride that roller coaster yet because we're not big boy pants. We're still in our diapers, I guess is the way to put it. Now, on the other side, when the other person excludes us, it's like a person who gets pushed off a high diving board. I mean, think about this scenario. Someone's afraid of fears like you, Mom, who's afraid of everything, basically. But anyway, they're afraid of heights, and they get a dare, and they gotta go on the high diving board for $100. Now, believe me, I do that. I'm just gonna admit it out right now. I like heights though anyway. But anyway, when we are gonna hop off that high diving board and you push us, that's what we fight, because you're pushing us out of the way into a flaming pool of sharks, practically. But I know when they push the other person, they're gonna flop, obviously. But when you push us, so with autism, you're basically pushing us off the high dive, then we're going to probably get eaten by sharks and make us bleed. I mean, honestly. I mean, it's unfortunate that we feel that way, but don't push us off the diving board. Don't do it. It ain't right, dude. It ain't right to push us off the diving board. But however, I'm not just going to blame others. Sometimes the responsibility lies in with the person who has autism or us. And I'm not saying, though, it's completely your fault. I mean, we have misconceptions, unfortunately. That's just a guarantee with autism. And now I'm thinking I might do an episode on that. But anyway, when it's our fault, sometimes we don't realize it. And I think I know why. Some of the reasons that I see, in my opinion, are honesty. First one would be honesty versus bluntness. And C102, honesty versus bluntness, for more information on that. But I think what happens is we could be too honest or too blunt. When that bluntness comes out, that person could see us as rude and just mean people. Well, we're not. We're nice people, but we just were blunt at that moment. But in their head, they're probably thinking, this guy is rude, get away from me. And it's an unfortunate thing, believe me. But we gotta tolerate that, unfortunately. But there are ways you can do that. Honesty versus bluntness, you can learn, keep practicing honesty versus bluntness situations and apologize to them. I mean, the least thing you could do for them is, even too blunt, is apologize. I mean, that's all they probably want. They might forgive you. I mean, some people probably won't, but at least give them an apology. That's all they mainly want and are asking for. Another reason could be is annoying. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I am, and autistic people can sometimes be annoying. Ask parents. Ask my mom and dad. I'm annoying sometimes, I'll admit it. But sometimes, and I'm gonna do this too, annoying orange. And that was a bad annoying orange impression, I apologize. But anyway, I mean, when we're annoying, that could just be like, ugh, get away from me. I'm gonna exclude you now. Push off. Bye. Push off the diving board. Bye-bye. But instead of doing that, why not help us? Just tell us we're being annoying. And instead of pushing us, tell us we're being annoying and we'll stop. I mean, like we said, we're great listeners, but instead of being an annoyer, be an advocate instead, I guess is the way to put it. Be an advocator, not annoyer, I guess if that's the right way to say it. Another reason could be is WTC, which stands for, as my speech therapist would call it, Whooping Topic Conversation. See 1115 Conversation Operation for more on that. But that means we're changing the topic, and they may tell us, but some people are just mean and exclude us because of that WTC incident we had, and they don't know how to take us. So instead of asking, they may exclude us. And I don't want to say bash anyone, like I said, but I don't care. I mean, if I do WTC, you should be the good person and help, not the bad person and exclude us. And when we do a WTC, tell us we did, and we'll be like, oh, okay, we're sorry. Let's start over. I mean, that's the least we can do, is start over and make it right. And also with a WTC, when we do a WTC, instead, and telling us, maybe you can help us by making up scenarios and helping us to the best of your ability and your cherishness, and possibly, quite frankly, making us feel that it was an okay conversation instead of excluding us, and make us feel better and make our hearts warm up. Also, another reason, what probably is a high one, is pressure. And I gotta sing this too, so under pressure. Alright, anyway, but that can be another reason, is we're excluded because of pressure. I mean, we get the anticipatory anxiety, something may happen. I mean, we may pee our pants. I mean, I'll be honest with you, because of the pressure that we have, that we are going to be excluded, that we might say something wrong, or that anticipatory anxiety, which will be next. But anyway, that pressure could lead us to do some stuff, and when we do that stuff, we're excluded. Okay, maybe we tell them like, hey, I'm just sorry, I got nervous. Let's start over, and maybe you can make me feel comfortable, practically. So maybe instead of excluding us, make us feel comfortable and make us feel more warm, and make us just feel more relaxed, at least, and at ease instead of uneasy, because that's just a bad day in our eyes. The last one is, as I said earlier, anticipatory anxiety. And C109, autistic butterflies, for the anxiety part, and C1110, what are the odds, anticipatory anxiety part, because that's another thing. I mean, we're anticipating that something bad's going to happen, and we may say the wrong, the right, we don't know. And we do the wrong thing. Uh-oh, crap, we're excluded. Okay, instead of the stamp of disapproval, put the stamp of approval. Because honestly, when we get that stamp of approved, then we're okay. We don't have to have that anticipatory anxiety. And we won't feel that pressure I said earlier. We will feel warm, comfortable, and okay with the conversation, and not where being excluded. And we'll have that stamp like with the mailing where they say stamp approved. That's what we'll feel like. Also, it's going to be hard for you parents if you're having a newborn child and you see your child with autism, or adolescent even, which is a young adult in case you guys don't know, but it's going to be hard for you guys as parents to see them be excluded. And to show you that, I want you to look at the first video below as a mom tells her experience on her son being excluded, because she tells the truth. I mean, she tells how it is and her concerns as future will go on, I guess is the way to say it. And she will feel so much better, though, to know that I will not exclude him. I'm just going to say that right now. I will not exclude that boy. Whoever you are, Mom, thank you for coming forward, and I will not exclude your boy. Let's just say that. Now, I just want to say this, too. When another person tries to when another person tries to bring us in or not exclude us, then thank you. That's all I want to say to you is thank a million times, thank you. And you are our savior and guardian angel for the day, because you gave us the rare, and I mean rare, chance, and let us hop on the bandwagon and join you guys as we are feeling this exclusion triangle, and instead can get out of that triangle and finally hop in the darn conversation. But you're not just our Lord Savior, you are a God, I guess is the way to say it. And I don't mean a God where they come sprinkling down. I mean a God for the day, because you're awesome and you saved our butts. So thank you again, though. Really, thank you. I don't know how else I can say thank you, but we appreciate you, and God bless you. But it's not just guardian angels or gods I need to thank. Or the day gods, I guess. Are they called day gods? What should I call them? Yeah, I'll call them people gods, I guess, for now. But I also want to commend people talking about their journey. Look at the next two videos below, where one is a mom and talking about her son being excluded, and a person who was excluded at her own birthday party. Her own party! What the heck? Pay attention to her, not you guys. You selfish brats. But instead of, I mean, come on, that one just infuriated me, and she was pretty, may I add. But anyway, those two people, thank you for commending your journey. You are going to change the role because more people need to come forward with it being excluded and see how it hurts them mentally and physically. Now, there are solutions for exclusion for the person being excluded. Some solutions are, in my opinion, keep practicing roleplay and see 1-1-15 conversation operation for more. But a good solution could practice roleplay like the waiter. I'm having a cheeseburger. What burger do you want? Cheese and tomatoes, lettuce, loaded. Okay, cool. And if you practice those conversations, maybe you can have that conversation with another person. And that way they won't exclude you. You could practice your conversations to get to know conversations or know not to be excluded. I mean, basically go from practice to conversation to exclusion. I mean, that's the three things like practice, yield, conversation, yield, exclusion with the air. And I won't think because of this my ICP class, so whatever on that. But keep practicing your role play because you could combine conversations. You probably will never, and I mean never, be excluded again in your life. Also, something else you can do is talk to the person or a person who will not exclude you any more than you have to deal with. Because, I mean, if they don't exclude you, that person likes you. I mean, all we want is to be liked. That's a way for us to show that you like us, is never excluding us. That's the way. Don't exclude us. Be nice. That's all we want. And if you don't exclude us, we're going to be thankful, like I said. But we're going to talk to you more often than person B over here because we're so grateful that you never excluded us. And thank you again. But I will talk to you a lot more than I already have. Let's just put it that way. Also, something else, you just think about your emotions. Think about the scenarios. Like, if you get mad, you punch them, what's going to happen? I mean, what are going to be the consequences? Or when you talk to someone else, or when you think of, like, I'm so happy, and you just do something weird, what's going to happen? I mean, think about your emotions before you do it. I mean, I have a hard time with the thinking before you speak, but I like to speak before I think, and maybe we do live by that. I'm not trying to say it's bad, but it does come with consequences, I'll admit it. But maybe I speak and then I admit my mistake instead of think before you speak, it's speak before you think, in my eyes. But when we think about our emotions, we'll overload it and probably likely slip up. So that's why we speak and think instead of speak and then think. So think about the emotions though, and maybe it could be good because we're thinking. So maybe think about it and then go do it. But for me, it wouldn't work, but maybe for you, it will work. So at least give it a shot. I mean, what's it going to hurt? Also, something else you could do is you could talk to someone. Maybe you could talk to someone who has a professional because they won't exclude you. I mean, if you talk to someone, they won't exclude you and they will hear your problems, and maybe you could just tell them that you want to tell the other person or tell someone else. I mean, maybe you just want to tell someone how I feel and what the heck my problem is. So, or their problem is. So maybe talk to someone that is a profession and they'll listen to you and then you can use their advice. I mean, I don't like other people's advice, I'll admit it. I like to figure it out on my own. But maybe you need to rely on that source in order for you to get help and not be excluded. So maybe at least try, and maybe that professional will help you and you can learn to not be excluded and you can never be excluded in your life again. Also, something else you could do is journal it. Actions speak louder than words. Okay, maybe an action will help you if you write it. Is if you write your emotions down. Because if you say in the world, as my parents have been annoying me with lately, because if you say it, they'll probably go, woo! So instead of saying it, because instead they might go woo, maybe instead journal it and write it down. So that way you don't have to avoid getting excluded and hurt someone's feelings or hurting yourself. Another thing you need to remember is don't get mad because y'all are beautiful. Let's put it that way. Y'all are beautiful. And they're all beautiful in a way. So, I mean, if they do exclude you, it's their problem. I mean, it ain't your problem. You're fine. It's the other person just being selfish and can't handle you. And they can't handle you. You're not worthy for them. You're worthy yourself. But I'm sure someone's going to be worthy for you. So I'm definitely certain if you get mad, it's going to be a lot worse. So instead, don't get mad. Think, oh, well, they're not worthy of me. Instead, this person will be worthy of me who won't exclude me. Like your counselor, an old person, your friend. I mean, think about that is, don't get mad. Think about person A not being worthy and hopping into the light of heaven, I guess, and with your other people who are worthy of you. Another thing you could do is avoid those who exclude us. Now, we can't do that all the time, but something else, though, is if we avoid them, we probably won't even know they exist. And that's going to help us. I mean, they were just a part of the population who is just a pretend person in our head. And when we pretend that person doesn't exist in our heads, we avoid them. We know that they're not real and they weren't worthy ever. Why waste our time and think about them? So instead of thinking about them, think about the people in the heaven of person B, and just avoid them to not even notice them or not even notice they exist. They were just a part of a different culture, I guess. Another one, and a definite one, could be the first to spark. And I don't mean like spark like sparky plug, or spark like sparkling fireworks, or sparkling rainbows, or sparkling flakes, or whatever. I mean like spark, like you're outgoing, you be the first to talk, and you can know how that person is, and know if they'll exclude you or not. Because they'll know whether or not they're worthy of you, and they'll know you were the first to spark. They'll at least commend your bravery and your courage. So, I mean, be the first to spark. Don't let them do it, because then you're just hiding in a turtle shell like turtles do. So instead of hiding in the shell, get your head out there and be the first to spark and talk to them. The 11th solution you could do is give excluders a second chance. I mean, this is my belief. I'm a firm believer in second chances. I mean, I've always said 2 strikes, you're out. I mean, that's what I've always said. But if you give excluders a second chance, maybe they'll take that second chance as a gift, and they'll know that you made a mistake the first time. We can try this again and see what happens. Now, second time, though, you might be a little more pressured, but it's okay. It might be worth it because of it will go fine in a while. But I always say this, 2 strikes, you're out. If they don't pass the second strike, they're out. Instead of, with the baseball, 3 strikes, it should be 2 strikes. So in my eyes, give excluders a second chance to at least see what they do, and maybe it will be okay in the end. Plus, something else you could do is find inclusion, because there's going to be inclusion somewhere, whether it's a camp, school, sports, your own time. I mean, there'll be an inclusion somewhere in your life. So instead, go to the inclusion instead of the exclusion and not even pay attention to it, because everyone's happy place is different and everyone's inclusion is very different. I mean, so go to your own world and your own inclusion and don't even worry about that exclusion in your life, because that's just a waste of time and you're just beating a dead horse. Another thing you can do is know who you are, because everyone's different in their own way, but know you are your own person, you're yourself, and if no one's good enough for you, too bad. You love yourself, that's all that matters. Because honestly, I hate to be the one to spill the beans or say this may come across rude. If this does, I'm sorry. But here's the deal. Let me put it this way. If I had no friends, if it didn't happen, I'm grateful you guys are my friends. Whoever's listening is, I'm so happy that you are. But if I didn't and things didn't turn out the way it would happen, I don't care. I mean, I know that I'm included myself, so I've included myself, so that's all that matters to me. And I know who I am, so at least I take some stress off the plate and makes me breathe and relieve myself. So if I did lose everything with not unfortunate situations, but it wasn't like it was and time changed, then I guess, okay, I tried. At least I'm including myself. Don't really care. So, I mean, I know who I am, and that's all that matters to me. Okay, and the final thing you could probably do, and this is me, is enjoy alone time. I mean, we don't get alone time as much. I'm always surrounded by people. People north, people south, people east, people west. That's going to be a song now, so here we go. People north, people south, people east, people west. Alright, so I'm going to go do that. Now I'm going to make an album with that. People north, east, south, west. Or I'll make a band NSEW. Instead of NWO, it's NWSE. But anyway, I'll do that in the future, I guess. But instead of people being us, sometimes we like alone time and just to chill and know who we are and reflect on that, and reflect on alone time, reflect on our thoughts, and just make a big old science reflection, I guess is the way to put it. Now, there are also solutions for the other person who does not know what to do, or the excluder, I guess. Some solutions are, give us multiple chances. I mean, we want chance after chance after chance after chance. And that's all we want is chances. And yes, I'm going to sing another song. I know there's a lot of songs on this one. Chances are. But anyway, I know I'm a great singer. But anyway, so these chances that we want, we will get. And we want. And I mean want so bad to the point where I'll just keep saying want. I know, waka. But anyway, these chances that we want, we need and deserve, because eventually I think we'll get to the 20th chance and we'll prove you wrong. Another thing you need to do is think if it is necessary. I mean, I hate to say this, but in some cases, it is necessary because of those 5 things they're doing. But maybe it's not. Maybe you give them a chance and maybe you try. You just try your absolute best to, because some people are loner to the point where it is necessary, unfortunately. But maybe I'm to the point where it's not necessary. But I try. Just keep trying, and you'll be so grateful in the end that you did try, because you're going to see that we're awesome people and better than other people. Also, something else you do is just be civil and nice. I mean, be civil, be polite, be respectful, be all those kindness and courteous words in the world. And yes, kind and courteous counts as one of them. But anyway, if you be civil and nice to us, we'll know that you're not the most okay person to be around, but are not safe zone, but you know that we can feel like comfortable around you and not make us uncomfortable by being uncivil and just, as I would say, disgusting to us. And we'll be grateful that you did in the end. And we'll know that you're not a safe zone, but comfortable and comforting near us. Also, something else, you can just find what we like, because every autistic person is going to like and be obsessed with something else. So find out what we like and join us instead of being like, ew, why you like that? Why are you obsessed with that, weirdo? But instead of doing that, focus on why it's so cool and how we can be obsessed with it and how awesome it is, because we can't do that because autistic people come with some talents that we are obsessed with, and when we do, we are awesome at it, and you can find what we like, and we can teach you how to do it. I mean, so you can think of it that way. So find what we like, and find what we enjoy to do, and maybe that's how we'll become friends or do something awesome together. And it's just like this because I made friends through the podcasting. If I didn't love podcasting, I would never made these awesome friends like Amira, Grandeville Blake Johnson, or DeAndre Cherry. I would have never made friends like that because we all came together through podcasting. So we all became friends with the podcasting. The final solution you could do is hop into our world, because everyone's world with autism is very different. I mean different, whether it's dark, light, deep, emotional, happy. I mean, it's different. I'll be honest with you. It's very different. So hop into our world and figure out what world we are hopping a lot, because we're going to be hoppers and hop in different worlds, but figure out our home and what we call home, because yes, my house is my home, but I have another home, the studio. Hop into that studio and see how we do this like you guys are doing right now. Hop into the studio and see what we're doing, and hop into the studio and just take a nap with me, I guess. But the biggest solution is don't do it at all. Because here's the deal, we will not like you nor respect you. And I have respect for everyone. But when you exclude us, that's when the respect stops, honestly. Because we will take actions, and I don't mean harmful actions, I mean actions to the point where we're going to ask you, what's the problem? And when you do that, you have no respect, like I said, but it's also doesn't come from you with the effects, it comes the effects from us, because it's very hurtful, and it will be very lonely for us, and it's not right. Don't do it, it's not right. If you choose that, we have no respect for you, and get away from us. That's all I gotta say. Get away, get away, get away, get away now. Get away, get away, get away now. But anyway, get away from us. I also have some solutions for the families and the friends of people with autism. Some solutions are, in my eyes, be there for them. I mean, what I mean by this is we all going to have hard times, and with exclusion and others. And this is a general, be there for us. Be there in our darkest hour. I mean, this is what I say, and this is what a song said. If you can't take me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. If you can't take me at the worst, when be there for me, you don't deserve me. You're worthless to me in my eyes. So be there for us, period. Also, something else you can do is make us feel as if you are a safe zone, because I'll admit, my parents and most of my family are a safe zone. And I'm not saying all family. I like my family. I'll admit it. But I feel like there are more families in my eyes that are more of a safe zone and more people of a safe zone than others. I guess is the way to put it without bashing anyone. No offense, though. I do like you all. But anyway, my family is a safe zone. My parents is a safe zone. My house is a safe zone. I mean, my friend is a safe zone. I mean, there are so many safe zones in this world. And when you make us feel we're a safe zone, we're going to be thankful, and we're going to be around you 24/7, and we're going to treat you like you're a king and give you biscuits and gravy, probably. Also, something else you can do, and I found this interesting, is create a coping kit. Maybe you could create a coping kit with like squishy balls, or maybe you get a box and there's a coping kit in there. You make your own coping kit, but you can make a kit to where it's just your special kit. Like Sam's Kit. Sam's Kit would be an Xbox controller, a video game of wrestling, and a dog, and a dodgeball, and a squishy ball. That would be my kit, but maybe theirs is different. Maybe their kit's a boxing glove or something. I don't know. But maybe there are different kits in this world to where you can have, but it's your own. Make your own coping kit to show that it's all yours and to calm you down. Also, what else you could do is be a team. I mean, be a team, and like tag teams in wrestling. They're a team. They're awesome, okay? We need to be a tag team and just make us be a team. And don't be like Taylor Swift's We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. I mean, that's not right. So instead, get back together, be a team, and help us. Make us like the A-team. Also, something to do is make a friendship tree or a board. Like, we've seen family trees, put friends in there. Or like the crime where you see the boards, like drawing boards, like who's the culprit. Make friends instead. Make that friends instead of the culprits, and because your friends aren't culprits, I hope. But anyway, make that instead to show that this is the person I could be around and I trust. This person, like, I trust, but whatever. You know, I mean, help make a friendship tree or a friendship board to show you visually that everything's okay. You know who your friends are. Go to them. The final thing you could do is use body language, because when we get to trust you, you could show us body language. And we don't read body language well, though. We'll admit it. I'll admit it myself. But show us body language for us to practice and show us that this person or this stranger is going to show body language. So show body language and make it think of it as a practice for us. Because you'll get body language easily, but we're not getting body language easily. So be our practice so we can use the body language tools in the real world. Now, not every person, like I said, will tolerate us and like us, and they'll exclude us. However, I gotta say to that, and I can say a lot worse, but I'm gonna say this. Whatever. It's their loss. You be you. Do not pretend for anybody, because they'll never be satisfied in my eyes. Always do you, and don't be the next of someone. Like, don't be the next Gina Mitchell, or be the next Doug Mitchell. Be the first Mr. Mike, or something like that. And here's the deal. I'm gonna be honest. It does cause family issues. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not saying my family has issues with it, because I'll admit it, we do a little bit with it, but, however, does it cause issues a little bit? Yes. Do I kind of care? Sort of, but not mainly, because honestly, I think if you give people what they want, they'll never be satisfied. So that's why I do me 24/7. And that's why I don't care about the people who tolerate, because it's not satisfying enough to them. They'll just keep getting satisfied with you being excluded, but it's never satisfying to them. So always satisfy you. Now, here are some analogies for each person of not being excluded. Okay, the parents. Okay, when the parents see their child not being excluded, they feel like a confetti cannon. And this is why I asked for a confetti cannon. Boom! Because that's what it feels like. I mean, when they hear that boom in their head, that's like, oh my god, they're not excluded! Woo! I mean, that's what they feel like. I mean, they're so happy they could do jumping jacks and cartwheels. And believe me, I'd love to see my mom do a cartwheel. But anyway, I think if she didn't see me excluded, she'd do a cartwheel. Because honestly, that's how happy the parents are when their child is not excluded. Because the confetti cannon went off, they're happy, they can go drink some tea. The other person, when the other person does not exclude us, then they are our superhero. They're Superman, and dun da da da. That's what they feel like. That's what they feel like in our head, is they're the dun da da da's, like you hear in the movies, or the old time movies, I think. But that's what they are. They're the other person. They're our Supermans, basically. And the only reason is right because I love Superman. He's my favorite DC superhero. And yes, if you guys think Superman is better than Batman, I'm going to say that right now. Don't like it? Unfriend me. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, and yes, I would like to rip the shirt out like Superman right now. But anyway, Superman is like, he is the one without an ego in my eyes. So, you are our Supermans, and thank you a million times, like I said. So, keep being our Supermans, or Superwomans, I guess, if you're a woman. And when we are not being excluded, we feel like we just reached the finish line of a big race. So, we're running, excluded, 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 excluded. But sure enough, we jumped that cross, and we might fall on our face like someone like my mom or anyone else. Boom! Okay, we reached the finish line, though. Who cares? We did it. We didn't get excluded. Yes, 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 yes. I mean, we've reached the exclusion. We reached to the point where we're in the inclusion. Yes, I mean, that's what we feel like. We just, got off. We feel like, taking our treasure, doing the woohoo! Like that ordeal. That's what we feel like. We just learned that we reached that finish line and we hopped onto the other side of the world of the inclusion instead of the exclusion at the bottom. We feel like we went to the bottom, to the top, with a snap of our fingers. In conclusion, it's just not right for anyone, with or without autism, to be excluded. I mean, what are we? Are we dogs? Are we cats? Are we dog food? Are we people who belong to someone? No. We are human. Why do you do this to other people? Why not? Why are you going to do it to us, but not this person? I mean, why? Why? It is simple. We are people. Always remember that. And to show you more, I'm going to have the 4th video below take over. Well, that'll be all for us today. I hope you learned something, and I want you right now to go talk to someone who has been excluded in their life. And have a great day.
Thanks for joining me for this episode. Please tune in for another episode coming in very soon. I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble. Thank you very much.